It's time for Team of the Week. I literally sweat my backside off trying to figure out who's going to be in Team of the Week. It was so difficult this week, especially considering Argentina did so well. I want to run through my Team of the Week with you guys, and I want to hear what your thoughts are. So please like, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And let's get into it. Now, we had Argentina put an absolute beating to the All Blacks. Nobody expected it. South Africa played the Wallabies, managed to scrape through a win, but this was something of, who the hell do I choose in place of each other? I really struggled this week because I didn't want to add just Argentinians because they played their absolute bloody socks off. But there were also certain players in other teams that performed well. So I'm going to give you my reaction on, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on who is in my Team of the Week. Obviously, I doubt we're all going to agree, but I'd love to hear who's in your Team of the Week. So let's get into it. Now, my front row is Oxenche, Montoya, and then Thomas du Toit. I think the Springboks, they had their props were so physical, so dominant. The Wallabies really struggled to contain him, but Montoya was just key, and he was instrumental in the way Argentina played, in that physicality, in those lineouts, and just coming in with big tackles as well. So he was an absolute rock. Same thing with Oxenche and Thomas du Toit, putting in some critical tackles, but Oxenche more than anything, getting himself a couple crucial carries as well. So good performances, very good performances. In terms of my locks, I was looking between Skelton and Rubiolo. Etzebeth, I thought he played absolutely brilliantly, but for me it was Skelton or Rubiolo. I opted for Skelton, but on any other day, Rubiolo, he played so well, he was so dominant, he would have made it, but I think Skelton just edged him on this one. In terms of my back row, my 6, 7, and 8, Matera, 100%. There was nobody else in mind that was getting that number 6 spot. He dominated from word go. He was crucial. He was the key man. So Matera, 100%, and I would happily argue my case if you say Matera does not deserve to be at number 6. Number 7, I'm going Fraser McWright. Fraser McWright coming in again with something like 18 tackles. Very dominant performance in terms of him being a back row. Yes, they did slip up, but the Wallabies kept with the Springboks tooth and nail. They were there. They were constantly ready. And Fraser McWright, again, this guy has been putting in ridiculous stats throughout the Lions tour, throughout what they did in South Africa. So Fraser McWright, for me, gets that number 7 spot. And then Kwagga Smith for my number 8. Again, he was a late entry, especially because Jean-Luc Dupria was pulled out. But again, brilliant performance. Big carries, big tackles, brought that energy, brought that consistency. He was solid. You know, he was an absolute nightmare. He was a thorn in the backside of Australia. So Kwagga Smith at number 8 for me. He played the best. My 9 and 10, for me, this was a relatively easy decision, especially considering all the other teams that were playing. Garcia and Santiago Carreras. This partnership opened up the All Blacks. They opened them up. Carreras was just so, he was the kids say, he was on fleek. You know, he was, I lose track of all of this new term lingo and shit. Carreras was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. In terms of my centers, I'm going Damien de Allende and Lucio Cinti. Chocobares was a very close second to Damien de Allende. I think de Allende just edges it, but Chocobares was beautiful. Watching this guy play, making the All Blacks sweat the way he did. Every time he was on the ball, it took multiple people to take him down. I just feel de Allende, he was just a little bit more all-rounded than Chocobares was, and he himself had a big impact, but this one's just going to come down to player preference. I'm trying not to be biased, but I think Damien de Allende just edges it over someone like Chocobares. But my 13 goes to Cinti. Cinti, I think he was the best 13 on the field throughout all the games. The guy was phenomenal. But his partnership with Chocobares, dominant display. In terms of my back row, I'm giving it my back 3. So Ches and Colby at 11. This easily could have gone to Mateo Carreras as well, because he had a very, very good game. If I could put Delguy at 11, I would, because that's where he did play in the last game. But I think Ches and Colby bring that energy, that pace. You know, he was a nightmare. He was constantly terrorizing people, working as a team. So again, Ches and Colby edges that. I mean, even Jorgensen played well, but I think Colby just edges them. Corey Toole, for me, no-brainer. The guy destroyed South Africa. He was just there. That speed, that pace was just there. Corey Toole. Debut, what a debut, what a talent, and scary, scary talent. So Corey Toole is getting my 14. And then Juan Cruz Malia. Malia. That guy, he keeps getting better and better and better and better. And then you think he needs to compete with Thomas Ramos in Toulouse. Malia just played his socks off. But to be fair, he's always at this consistent level. This is what great players do, playing at this consistent level. And you look at Argentina, you look at the squad, you look at the ages of the squad as well. They are developing so much talent. They are becoming a force to be reckoned with. And this is my 15. I would love to hear what your 15 is, who you would put in place. I mean, obviously, there were some players that, for me, it was very, very hard to choose, like Colby, Skelton, even Thomas du Toit, putting him at 3. That was difficult. Fraser McWright as well. There were a couple other players that could have taken that spot. I've gone for Fraser McWright. But there were certain players that, for me, in my opinion, there was no two ways about it. Like Matera was just dominant. Corey Toole was dominant. Oxenche, in my opinion, was dominant. Same thing with Julien Montoya, dominant. But yeah, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. What's your team? And we now have a little wait until we get to the round 3. So drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.